You're in that, especially when you've had a game with turnovers, that I still got an opportunity, and we can go win this game.
Okay. Brew, kind of an odd game. Ready to put a grade on the Cowboys' performance.
It is an odd game. I will say this. Dak saved himself with that last touchdown from
the game-winning touchdown on fourth down to save the season?
From an F grade. Yeah. It would have been an F grade. I don't care if he threw for 600 yards. 3 turnovers, 2 of them in the red zone. Like, they marched up and down the field on the Steelers, which is a great defense, and he kept screwing up in the red zone. But I graded this on a curve.
Oh.
You professors, you need to make these decisions sometimes. They were missing, obviously, Micah Parsons, DeMarcus Lawrence, Deron Bland, Brandon Cooks. They needed a win.
And they lost another edge rusher during the game.
And then lost 2 or had 2 offensive linemen back injured. They needed the win because they got Detroit and then the Niners, who were getting desperate, and Atlanta coming up. All right? They stopped the run. Now, Pittsburgh runs a lot. They're not a great run team, but still, they held them under 100 yards, less than 4 yards a carry. Did a good job. So, I am nothing but, if not fair.
High grade.
Really? No, in the context of I think this is fair.
Game.
But they had to have the win.
Yeah.
And they went into a tough area. I know Pittsburgh's offense is horrible. It's horrible. I don't know that Russell Wilson would be better, but they are not good. But
George
still,
Pickens trying.
They had to get a win, and I'll give them a B+ for
So, yeah, I mean, I think that's the minimum grade you can
You think an 8?
Well, we said I thought when we were discussing
Look at Greg's
the game.
face.
Yeah.
Hold
and
on.
you guys
Look at
picked
Greg's face. We got to do this. I don't do this often, but look at Greg's face.
I think that's the minimum grade you could get.
You think an 8?
Well, we said I thought.
He's confused.
When we were discussing the game.
Yeah.
And you guys picked the Cowboys and talked about all the.
No, we picked the Steelers.
I'm sorry, picked the Steelers. Thank you. And talked about all the reasons the Cowboys were going to lose and the injuries and the matchup problems. And I said, so under that context, if the Cowboys find a way to win, it's an A game. You guys said yes. Now I understand the context of, but there were 3 bad turnovers. And it could have been a 4th terrible turnover, not on Dak, but the fumble at the goal line with the great play by the kid from Pittsburgh. Dak, though, saved it, as you mentioned, Wilds. I mean, that's a
great play.
That's a huge win.
Yeah.
Right.
It's 4th down, and it's about to be outright panic time for the Cowboys. And a real fair or not Dak Prescott referendum day.
Yeah.
Instead, 4th down a touchdown, down 4. He makes the play to a guy who had just come off the field injured. Like that, and within the context of the conference. Like I know, Brew, last week you were saying the Cowboys are common. Man, aside from Minnesota, who isn't?
Pretty good.
Like the teams that we think the teams that have been really good over the last few years in that conference.
I'll tell you right now, who's better? The Packers, the Vikings, the 49ers, the Falcons, the Saints, the Eagles. I'm going to say the Eagles. The Commanders. Like that's who it is. Okay? That's who it is. Beating a not good team. There's a good chance that the Steelers aren't even going to be in the playoffs, okay? So that means 3 of their wins so far are non-playoff teams. All right? The Steelers' offense is awful. Awful, awful, awful. I've already gone through this so many times of all the games that they won. And their defense is not top 2, top 3. Their defense isn't bad by no means, but it's not this next level defense. The Cowboys did not play good. This is where Nick is now just kind of twisting himself in a knot. Because the Ravens, who went up against a superior Bengals team. Yes, I understand the records aren't the same, but the Bengals are clearly better with a clearly way better offense. Nick said, I have some concerns about the Ravens. I just did the clip. Yeah, I have concerns. This game is concerning for me. You know, I don't know what the Baltimore Ravens can do. But now you have the Cowboys who unquestionably play bad. They play bad football, and Dak Prescott plays bad quarterback play, okay? It's just a fact. Collinsworth didn't even know what to say. He was literally dumbfounded on those 2 interceptions and was just like, I'm going to let you reach your own conclusions about that, okay? And he had 3 turnovers. 3, not 1, not 2, but 3. And it was just like, you're going to try to act like this was an A game? Like, that's just insanity. You were able to take advantage of a team that has a bad quarterback, and it's really hard to win games when you have a bad quarterback. Okay, when your quarterback is better than the other team's quarterback, you're going to be in a much better position to be able to win, right? That's just as much as obvious as anything else in the NFL. So to try to act like this was an A game is insane. If Justin Fields played great, or just that offense was even remotely competent, and Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys won, then I 1000% agree, right? But you can't have an A game when you turn the ball over that many times, okay? And you put up a whopping 20 points. It was just the fact that the Steelers could not do anything offensively. It's not even up for debate. It's just a sheer fact.
The Niners look worse than Dallas. The Rams look worse than Dallas. They're ravaged by injuries, but they do. I think, you might disagree, Philly looks worse than Dallas. Detroit and Green Bay, to me, look about equivalent to Dallas. So
the Commanders look, I think we have.
The Packers and the Lions look equivalent to the Dallas Cowboys.
No, that's why I said the teams who were, yes, the Commanders and Vikings have looked awesome, but those aren't like the perennial powers of the last few years. Now, maybe they're all going to pop this year. I don't know. But I also think, and this would be the last point I make, that, Greg, the Cowboys through 3 weeks were one of the worst run defenses ever we were talking about, or how bad their run defense was. Since then, we can show it to you. They have been excellent. It was their biggest.
They played the Giants, who struggle so badly in the NFL. I understand they beat the Seahawks. I do. I get it. They beat the Seahawks, as the Seahawks are decimated by injuries right now. But the Giants are not this great team. Let's not pretend about that. And then they just beat the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have been able to score more than 20 points only once this entire season. Only once. They have nothing going on offensively. This is what we call cooking the books.
Weakness, and against two teams, by the way, the Giants yesterday had no trouble running the ball. Pittsburgh loves to run the ball, even though you're right, Brew, they're not dynamic offense. So, I thought this was a great moment by Dak and a great team win, even though they didn't play great.
There you go. I thought it was a great team win. I'm shocked that you gave it a B+, but knowing the context of everything, I understand. For me, like, watching them play, like, this wasn't I got to get the ball to CD. Offensively, we're going to be CD-centric. Right. It was spread the ball around, next man up. We're going to use everybody, make a play when your number is called. And most times that numbers were called, Turpin, Tolbert, they all made plays. Jake Ferguson made plays. They even tried to establish running the ball. Like,
they ran a lot.
Rico, he averaged like 4.4 yards a carry. He had a career day. Look, when you look at this team and defensively missing those pieces that you mentioned, obviously Micah being the most notable, missing those pieces for them to still hold a Pittsburgh Steelers team to where they had a chance to win it offensively, because Pittsburgh's not going to score a lot of points. So you got to make a decision if you're Dak to stop throwing the ball away, take what the defense is giving you. Our defense is playing really good. Just get the ball in the end zone, get points on the board. They did that. I give them a lot of credit for just having the resiliencies to take that 15-play drive and be methodical, keep the ball away from Pittsburgh, so they had absolutely no shot to do anything.
They would not quickly, just to turn to the Pittsburgh side of things, because you mentioned it, was that kind of a make-or-break game for Justin Fields, or are you giving all the credit to the Cowboys' defense?
No, I mean, look, they're 3-2. They've played fine. He's not been bad. I mean, he just. It looks a lot like Russ looked last year in Denver. Now, maybe like I said a few weeks ago, I'm not ready to say Justin's my quarterback for the rest of the season. I'll even give him a few bad games before I bring in Russ. But I just their offense is bad.
So, look, I'm gonna be honest. The moment Kyle Allen came in the game, I'm thinking, they'll be able to throw the ball at least.
Well, and his one pass was
not good.
Was a good pass.
I know. And I'm not saying they should move on to Russ, because I don't think Russ is the answer. As much as I would like to see Justin succeed, he's a threat running the football, but he He's not been that guy.
He hasn't been running, and he hasn't seemed to, like, he had the one
he's not
big
using that to his advantage. So if you're not using the skill set that makes you different and primarily is your strength, then what are we doing?
So, and by the way, listen, Russ's PR team is still talking to Sunday Night Football sideline reporters like he's the starter. Like, I don't know if you guys, like, he has a catchphrase, guys. He has a new catchphrase. They told us that from
Okay. Yeah. This game was such a crazy game, honestly. To me, it was really funny listening to Collinsworth because he was also talking about Justin Fields, and you could tell he felt bad saying negative things about Justin Fields. I mean, like he really kind of had to pull some punches because I don't think he wanted to pile on. He was very much like, you gotta be able to make that throw, and he kind of just like left it at that. And there was a couple other times that Justin Fields really missed some stuff, and he was just like, yeah, he was just like, yeah. He just kind of was just like, I can't keep just ripping this kid, because I think he just felt bad, because it's like ripping someone who like can't get the job done, and it's like, well, like what are you gonna do? And like I said in my previous video, it's like it's like a coach. They always talk about this. Coaches are only hard on the players that they think can actually like grow, that actually have true potential. And it's like, you should be more concerned when your coach is not paying attention to you, because your coach is like, well, I can't do anything with you. Why am I going to waste my time with you? And in a way, that's kind of like the cousin of Collinsworth just being like, yeah, best of luck, Justin Fields, best luck. Because then he even said, I think the way how this game, the way how Justin Fields is playing, like it opens up the door. He was pretty much like saying, like, I don't see how Russell Wilson doesn't get a chance. And this game, and for those of you who missed it, I'll just emphasize this because you guys are gonna attack me and say, I'm anti-Dak, and I'm really not. I after watching this game, I feel like I have the perfect explanation of who Dak Prescott is, right? He is consistently good, who equally has awful plays and great plays. And that is who he is. He has some really great moments and some really great throws. He never crosses the elite, right? He's never stiff arming someone and running around in circles and then throwing the ball down the field for a touchdown as he goes out of bounds like Lamar Jackson just did, right? He doesn't have those moments, but he consistently is really good. He takes care of all of the bottom of the barrel type stuff, right? He doesn't make those mistakes like we see Justin Fields make, right? We don't see him miss those reads like Justin Fields does. He doesn't launch the ball too often over someone's head or into the dirt, right? But he also then has equally bad plays where you have those interceptions where you're just like, what was that, right? What was that? And again, it left Collinsworth didn't even know what to say. He really didn't, because he also knows, like, this is Dak Prescott. Like, this is the highest paid quarterback in the history of the NFL. And he was just like, can't do that. Like, what was that? And then again, he was just like, you guys be the judge of it, what's going on, right? And that is a problem. And the problem is, since he can't take it to that next gear, he can't lead a team to a Super Bowl. He needs a perfect situation. He needs a perfect coach and an unbelievable roster. Because we've seen what happens when the team needs to rely on him come time in the playoffs, or they need him to overcome something. He consistently has been unable to. And don't tell me that that's wrong, because he hasn't ever been able to do it. He's been given the opportunity and has failed. That's part of the problem. That's why there's so much pushback on Dak, because people want to say, look how unbelievably amazing he is. And it's like, he's really good. He is a really good quarterback. He is a B to B plus quarterback. Because then, and again, people want to act like, look what he was able to do, missing his wide receiver too. Like that's supposed to be impressive. He still had CeeDee Lamb. Like, he still had his guy. And again, everyone tells me that the Dallas Cowboys are a contender. And if they're a contender, well, then he has the contending team. I understand he had a few injuries on defense, but that has nothing to do with his offense. He was missing Cooks, okay. Like what? Can Matthew Stafford only win when he has every single wide receiver, or does he find a way to win without it? And again, it's not to say that you always have to win, because I even said, like, if CeeDee Lamb was missing here, I would not have expected the Cowboys to win this game. And I wouldn't have said, oh, Dak Prescott should be able to win this game. I would not. I absolutely positively would not. But when you're telling me you're only missing Brandon Cooks, that's somehow supposed to be like, well, Dak overcame all this. Like, no. And Dak never overcame the bad defense because the Steelers' offense was so bad. I mean, Dak was trying to give the game away. I don't understand how you guys don't see that. He was literally giving the game away. The defense was playing good because the offense was playing bad, and he did not protect the ball. He put the ball in harm's way multiple times and then held on to the ball with the pass rush of the Steelers with TJ Watt for well over 3 seconds, and that led to a fumble. You can't do that. You can't do that. So the fact that a lot of people still can't understand that is what just doesn't make sense to me. But the other great thing about Dak that I also talked about with the herd is, is his presence, right? And that is why he's worth a lot of that money. CeeDee Lamb, right, is kind of, I don't want to say shouting at him, but, whatever they're saying about whatever they're doing on the sideline. And Dak is just like keeping his cool, right? Dak is not fighting. Dak doesn't get in his face. He always says the right thing. He's never antagonistic, never subtle jabs, never combative with the media, with coaches, with players, right? Like he is the exact personality who you want representing your franchise, both on and off the field. And like I always say, like, Dak Prescott is the guy who you would be happy, who is dating your sister, who's, if you're in a bind and you have kids and you're like, I need someone to watch my kids, like, you would trust Dak. You would be like, Dak, can you watch my kid while I go run to do whatever? Like, you would not be like, oh, I don't know if I want to leave you with him. What do I do? Right? You'd be like, oh, cool. Right? Like, you can trust him. He is a true, mature grown-up, which there's plenty of quarterbacks and plenty of people in the NFL who are not those things. I won't name names, but those are, I won't have trust, being like, yeah, can you watch my kids? Or, yeah, I don't care that you're dating my sister or whatever. Like, you can trust Dak, which is a rare commodity in a lot of ways. I mean, it is. Like I said, we can list a lot of quarterbacks who you would not trust. But at the same time, if you need Dak to now save your kid's life, I'm not so sure I trust him to be able to do that either. So, it's you trust him in nice, comfy, organized, calm situations. But when things are kind of starting to get a little crazy and the volume is jacked up and there's intensity, not so much. And so that is the dig. And that criticism comes with you being the highest paid quarterback and people trying to say that Dak is on the level of Mahomes, that he is on the level of Lamar, that he is on the level of Burrow. And those things are just simply not true. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys? What grade are you giving them? Do you think this was a big win, an okay win, an average win, a bad win? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.